Hey everyone, Susie here with a reading for you for the full moon in Libra tonight and also for the next couple of weeks, taking into account Easter. Now, because it's a full moon, we've had a build up to it, we're in it, it's going to go for a couple of days, but the key themes for this pink moon, as I've just been shown, the things that we're releasing and there are things that we are birthing. And it kind of really ties in well, the releasing energy before Easter. So we've got the full moon now, and then Easter is in a couple of days. And Easter is about rebirthing. It's you know, the passion of Christ, the rebirthing of Jesus. So if you look at these two energies that are playing out, what is it that we are releasing at this time? So that the full energy of Venus that is coming out of retrograde and coming back into her full glory, it's, you know, Venus is that part of us that wants to have healthy, wholesome relationships with ourselves and others. So the things as I see it that we're releasing, and have very clear visions around this. The first one is judgment, that judgment of ourselves primarily, where we may think that we've either failed somebody, or that we haven't done the best that we could, or whatever ways that we judge ourselves. You know, we judge our bodies, we judge our offerings, we judge where we are in our life. Is this where I'm meant to be? Is this what I'm meant to be doing? All those things. So it's a releasing of that. It's a looking at your life with love. And if I look at what we're birthing alongside the releasing of judgment, there's more of an alignment with your truth. So I think I said in the last video that around this time you would be able to hear something really clearly. And if you haven't already heard it, then expect to hear this calling of your spirit that either says this is wrong for you, or this no longer serves you, or this is your path. You know, there'll be things where you kind of go, look, I unmistakably know that this is right for me, you know, right for you. So the releasing of judgment, the moving more into alignment, and that alignment will affect things like what you're eating, what you're imbibing, the people that you're with, the things that you watch, the things that you read, the things that you do. There'll be a whole lot of you, I'm sure, that are already going through this. Well, you might be like me, where you go, okay, I'm flicking my Netflix subscription. Now that I'm fully healed, I don't need to be watching so much. But things like you kind of go, there's just nothing here for me anymore. And more, you will recognize that. And it might be a food group that you've been struggling with and going, well, I really used to love this, but it actually doesn't work for you anymore. And so there will just be this gentle alignment that kind of goes, it's not hard, it's not difficult to step into that alignment. So on the full moon over this next couple of days, really allow yourself to tap into any judgment that you have around yourself, around either what you're doing or what you've done, so that you can release any grief that goes with that, because grief is another key theme of what is being released at this time. Now, grief is, we associate grief when we've lost somebody. You know, we lose a partner or we lose a family member, and so we feel really sad. But grief is also an energy of abandonment as well, where things haven't been what we wanted them to be in our lives. And so I'd encourage you in this full moon energy, because it's a great time for reflection and self-awareness, but I would really encourage you to look at those parts of you that maybe are sad and perhaps disappointed, because we can hold the frequency of grief where we have felt let down, where we have felt like people haven't shown up for us the way that we wanted them to, or the actual grief of people that have left our lives and maybe are never coming back because they've moved beyond the veil. And understanding that even though we are spiritual and even though we know that there is life hereafter, there's also a sense of loss because that person isn't there with us. Now, what I've seen as a way of overcoming the grief, as particularly if it relates to trauma in your childhood or potentially having to move a lot, where you've left people, or people have let you down, or people haven't behaved the way you wanted them to, then one of the things I was shown very clearly is to the recognition for you that love was always there. Now, love was there because your guides, your angels, your higher self has always been with you. And potentially you've been in the frequency of love, but maybe the person that you've been with, if there's been disappointment or hurt, then they may not have been in that frequency of love. But what I was shown was love was always there, but it was often unexpressed. It was unexplored. It was unknown. So there may have been a frequency when you've had past grief where the disappointment came about because whoever you were with could not express love, did not know how to explore it or how to show it. But love was always there. And the reason I know that is because love is a core part of who every person is. So every person, no matter how troubled or how unhappy they may have seemed in your life, the core of everybody is love. And for so many people, the love inside them has been suppressed. It's not been able to be expressed. So I really know on this full pink moon, which is all about how we can bring more harmony and balance into our lives, it's recognizing that love was always there. So that's the rebirthing energy. That's the part of you that says, well, hang on a minute. Even though I hold this sadness for what has not been what I wanted it to be, could I just sit in the power of love within you? The power that is there, the essence, the beauty, the calmness, the stillness, that part of you that just feels connected. And if you don't feel that, then I really encourage you to do some, beautiful meditations, some sound work, some healing, but just to tap into that part of you that knows what love feels like. I also have a very dear friend in Melbourne, Alistair Finco, and he's set up his own YouTube channel very recently. He's a former music teacher and he is a musician, but he's just starting his own beautiful meditations. So if anybody wants that link, just say so in the comments and I'll post the link there on YouTube. His, I can't remember what I think it's called Life Through Meditation, might be his channel, but I'll be sharing more and more of his work as we go on. So the other thing that we are releasing at this time is the fear of vulnerability and the mask. So the masks that we wear, and we often don't realize that we're wearing a mask, but the mask is that part of us that, sometimes we're not feeling so good. Sometimes we really don't want to be happy, or we don't want to be the good person, but we put on this mask of, yes, I'm okay. Oh, yes, I'll help you with that. Or, I don't need any help. And that mask is really because we're afraid to be vulnerable. We're afraid to be seen, to not have all the answers, or to need help, or to maybe even express our love to people when we know that they don't think about us in that way, and maybe we don't think about them in a romantic way, but we're just expressing our love because that's who we are. I find that myself very often, that I use a lot of loving words and can often get misinterpreted, but it's still that thing of, that's the essence of how I want to be. So that essence of love and vulnerability. But the mask comes on where we're sometimes afraid to lose the people around us, because we think, well, if we don't do this, this or this, then maybe they won't stick around. So having the courage to be yourself, to be authentic, that's what is being rebirthed at this time. So we're just coming off the back of eclipse season, which has been hugely transformative. And one of the massive themes for the next 2 weeks is continuing with self-care. And if self-care hasn't been part of your eclipse transformation, then I'm going to say to you, it really will become part of your next couple of weeks. Because the universe has a really strange way of making us step back and making us just slow down. And truthfully, if you could see how the frequency of each of us is affected by so many different things, so many elemental things like the sun, the cosmic rays that are coming in, but the weather, but also all of the, the frequency of the media that is out there. And even if you're not listening to the media that's out there, there's a frequency that goes through the airwaves. And I personally don't watch a lot of news, and I know many of you don't, but that frequency is in the airwaves. And so really this is a time to, as much as we can, get back to nature, to follow the themes of self-healing, to truly tap into the quiet space within ourselves. Because what also is happening through this period is that there is a sense of Mars coming back online, and so the Mars energy can be very fiery, and it can bring volatility, but it can also bring that bit of impetus that you need if you're stagnant. So I know that this first quarter of the year has been hugely, there's been a lot of upheaval. That's all I can say. There's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of maybe, as I said, health things that will have come up for many of you in many different forms. So that the calling is to be looking at how you can still rest, recuperate, practice self-care, and really look at your total commitment to your self-care going forward, so that this time is used for the beautiful rebirthing that we're seeing happening. So definitely a turning point. Venus going direct. Also, that Venus going direct is about us changing the relationship patterns and cycles that we've had. So, I spoke into that when I talked about letting go of judgment, letting go of grief, letting go of the mask, and birthing that sense of authenticity within yourself. So a lot of speaking up, a lot of vulnerability, a lot of deeper and more authentic relationships. And that's friendships, that's family, that's romantic relationships as well. So I'm going to use the Oracle of the Seven Energies, Colette Baron Reid's work, for this next couple of weeks, just to see what else comes through. Also, Chiron is very strong in the chart at the moment with this full moon. And Chiron is the wounded healer, the one who, through their own understanding, has shared that wisdom and found healing for self. So for many of you, those aspects of Chiron that are within you, that part of you that is always looking for how you can help someone else because you recognize the wound. Well, the wound that all of us carry, and we all carry a wound. There isn't a person on the planet, I don't care what you say, that has not got a deep, deep-seated wound that they've come in here to explore, to understand, to release, and to kind of live with. Because this is about living with our wounds, but not letting the wounds run our life. It's seeing the gifts from all of the things that have happened, all of the, the traumas, the tribulations, the trials that we've experienced. It's being able to find this state of ecstasy and joy. And I really know that if you want that, it is available to you more so now than ever. So let us see what else comes through. So smoke and mirrors. I think this one might have come up the last time too. I must have used these cards maybe in the last reading, or maybe it's in my circle that I'm doing at the moment. But smoke and mirrors. So again, okay, so that taps into the unrest that is on the planet through the political scene and the climate scene. So those two things that are playing out at the moment, they're designed to help us to see more clearly. And it's to see ourselves more clearly, to understand the power that we have, because we have an innate power to create calmness within ourselves that ripples out into the world. But there will be, there is at the moment a lot of uncertainty and fear. And the thing is, if you always, I believe, go back to history, and the benefit of being someone that's now in our mid-60s is that you can look back in time and you can say, well, I remember when we had market volatility in the share market. I remember when we had high interest rates. I remember when, things happened, and we kind of work our way through it. But if you haven't experienced those things before, it's to understand that these are times of ups and downs, but it will pass. Everything changes. And we are in times of huge, huge, huge transformation. Hopefully, and not just hopefully, but willingly, this is a time of beautiful, soft Aquarian energy coming in. Wow, I love this one. It says sacred reverence, and there's two hands with a heart above holding the key. And that's saying the key to everything is the reverence that you give to yourself. Reverence being that honoring of your heart, honoring of your spirit, honoring of the love that is in you that wishes to be expressed, to be known, and to be explored and shared. So I love that. And it's a beautiful, it feels balanced as well, doesn't it? Like this, this full moon in Libra, very much a harmonizing, balancing, and for some very emotional time. But the emotion, like look at all the stars, look at all the bright sparks of light that are there if we're willing to just stand firm, open our own hearts, open our own doors, open our past so it isn't something to be afraid of. And one more beautiful card. Oh, the Rose's Kiss. Well, I love that. I mean, and there's a butterfly on there too. So a number 9, and again, remember we're in a 9 year, the getting of wisdom that love and opening will bring, the transformation of ourselves through the beauty of the heart, the beauty of the rose. And a rose, look at all the colours in that rose, by the way. But roses, they have a beautiful scent, they represent love, but they come into this world as a seed. They grow, they blossom, and they die. And that is the cycle of life. So as we go into Easter, we're going to be reminded of the cycle of life. We're going to be reminded that people do not stay the same, that every day we are aging, we are getting closer to our end date, but we're also getting closer to our wisdom, to our true selves, and to our connection with the divine. So I really wish you a beautiful, beautiful couple of weeks, and I look forward to hearing your comments and seeing what's going on for you as well. And thanks again for being part of this beautiful community, because I really, really, really do appreciate all of you. Okay, take care, and I'll see you again soon.